An 11-year-old girl arrives home after school. She bursts through the door and exclaims, "I'm home!" Looking around, she realizes the house is oddly quiet. So she begins to investigate. She walks down the hallway, peeking in the rooms. Nobody's there. She continues further and sees light emitting from the bathroom as the door is slightly cracked. Curious, she begins to push and she feels a thud. She wonders what on earth would be blocking the door. So she pushes a little harder and is able to squeeze into the bathroom, only to find her 15-year-old sister lying on the floor, pale white, shallow breathing. She quickly falls to her knees and puts her sister's head in her lap and says, "Ashley? Ashley, are you okay? Ashley, say something, please. Ashley?" Her sister weakly looks up at her and says, "I'm sorry," and then collapses back into her lap, unconscious. Panicked, she looks around the bathroom and finds a bottle of aspirin. 50 pills, all taken. Her sister has just attempted to commit suicide. She phones her mom. Her mom gets there as quickly as she can, and the two of them get the sister in the car into the hospital. At the hospital, her stomach is pumped, and an IV is injected into her. After a couple of hours, she comes back to consciousness with her sister and her mother at her bedside. The 11-year-old asks, "Why did you do it?" She looks at her in the eyes and says, "Looking back, I guess it's because I didn't really love myself, so I wanted myself to stop existing." Loving yourself is a serious issue. Accepting who you are is important. Don't let this life overtake you. Don't let the world push you down. Stand up and say, "I can do this." You need to love yourself because who you are is amazing and unique. It doesn't matter your race, your background, your social standing, your economic standing, whether you have blue eyes or green eyes, whether you're curvy, whether you're thin as a board, it doesn't matter, because self-worth doesn't come from outward appearances. It doesn't come from what other people say. It starts with yourself. It comes from within. Think about it. If we were all the same, this world would be a dreadfully boring place to live in. Who you are adds another color to the spectrum. Admire what makes you different. Don't look at the details as imperfections. Darren L. Hammond from Lifehack says that as you come to love yourself, you unlock superpowers that enhance your life in only the best ways possible. Isn't that amazing? Now, some of you might be thinking, people just need to get over it. Or won't loving myself lead to selfishness or even becoming prideful? Or even a stall in my progression? Or it's too hard to love myself. I'm not worth loving. Well, I can tell you now that you're wrong. And I don't mean this in a harsh way, but first of all, it's not too hard to love yourself. It may be hard to get to that point, but it's not impossible, and you are worth loving. Just like the 15-year-old girl, had she known that she was worth loving, she may not have attempted to commit suicide. Loving yourself will not lead to selfishness, pridefulness, or inhibit your ability to progress. As we love ourselves, we have a better determination to progress. We have a better hope. We have a better want to love others. And people who say others just need to get over it, that it's not an issue, well, you probably have some internal conflicts that you need to face yourself. All of this self-hate stems from negative thinking. From the benefits of positivethinking.com, it states, negative thoughts are caused by ingrained patterns related to our own beliefs about self-esteem, security, money, people, life, and everything else. Basically, what it's saying is negative thinking is a habit. And just like habits can be formed, habits can be broken. Let's take a look at what we can do to overcome self-hate and start loving ourselves. Well, an article by Joanne Pan from the Huffington Post lists 7 key ways to do this. She first states, make contact with your inner self. Second, face your inner obstacles. Third, allow yourself to heal from old wounds. Fourth, forgive the past. These first 4 steps all encase things that have to deal with you personally. Look inside yourself, evaluate yourself. If you're not where you want to be, start taking the steps today to get to where you want to be, to become that person who you will love. 5, accept where you are today. Like I said, it's all right if you're not where you want to be. Just recognize that and start heading toward your goals today. 6, form loving and supportive relationships. And 7, practice being what you wish to become. The fake it to make it principle. Even if you don't believe it right now, you can come to believe it. And it all starts with positive thinking. Tell yourself you're good enough. Tell yourself you're beautiful. Tell yourself you're valued. These things will become your reality. Why is this important? First of all, as you better yourself and as you love yourself, you'll be able to better help those around you. It's even been proven that those with higher self-esteems have a much higher ability to make a huge difference in the world. So do you want to experience a life full of bliss and joy? Do you want to avoid falling into the despair of hopelessness like the 15-year-old girl from the story that I told? Perhaps you would like to help those around you and better strengthen your relationships. You can all do this, but it starts with self-love. So choose to love yourself. It's a real issue. I want you to go out today to start on your path to self-acceptance. Follow the 7 steps that I listed. Or better yet, go out and do further research. There are millions of articles that will give you tips and facts on how to better yourself. As Lao Tzu once said, because one believes in oneself, one doesn't try to convince others. Because one is content with oneself, one doesn't need others' approval. Because one accepts oneself, the whole world accepts him or her. The story that I told you in the beginning was the story of my sister and me. I've seen firsthand how self-hate can affect somebody, and not only that person individually, but everybody around them. Make positive ripples in your life and choose to love yourself.